Today we're going to talk about window openings, how to rough in a window opening. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at our set of drawings. Alright, on our set of drawings, you're going to find the window that you want to lay out, and by it will be a number or a letter indicating what size it is. To determine what it is, you then come over to the window schedule, and you'll see that you have a 1, 2, and a 3. Our window was a 2. There's 4 of them in the house, and the size is 3050. 3050 means the 30 is the width, the 50 is the height. Before we lay out the window, we have to know a little bit about the windows that are out there. Okay? The first one we're going to talk about is a wood frame window. If you're going to frame for a new wood frame window, in your measurement you have to allow for spacings and jambs, like we did with the door in the previous video. If you're using vinyl windows do not need the jambs. The jamb is included in the width of the window, and all you have to do is allow for spacings. So before you install a window or frame for a window, you need to know exactly what the width and the height of the window is. A 3.0 window is 3 feet 0 inches. It's 36 inches plus no inches, so 36 inches. But a vinyl window, when you buy the vinyl window, a 3.0 vinyl window may be only 35.5 inches wide, not counting the flange. So when you frame for that window, you only have to allow for 35.5 inches plus spacing. That's the type of window that I'm going to show you how to do today. We're going to start with the corner post. In a corner post, as in previous videos, you measure 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches for your studs. Draw your lines across both plates. X stands for full stud. S stands for spacer. On this end, we're going to put a T-post where we're going to have an intersecting wall. So we're going to mark the beginning of our T-post. We're going to mark 1.5 inches. Then we're going to go 1, 2, 3.5 inches and an extra 1.5 inches. Using our speed square, we draw our lines across both plates. We mark them full stud, spacer, spacer. We want our window to be in the center of this, between this wall that's going to be here and this wall that's going to be here. So, in order to find that, we're going to measure from this mark right here, which is 3.5 inches. That's the thickness of this wall. And we're going to measure from there to the inside of this stud. That's where this wall is going to meet. So this wall will butt up right here. So we need to measure to this point, and that point is 78 inches. So we need to take half of 78 inches to find the center line of this. So all we have to do is round up to 80. We take 40 inches from this direction, 40 inches from this direction, and then there's the center of our window. Now that we found the center line of the window, we need to determine how much in each direction we're going to go. So remember, we're going to put in a vinyl window. A vinyl window is 35.5 inches plus spacing. I am going to add a 1/2 inch of spacing to the window. So I'm going to use a 36-inch rough opening size. So 36 divided by 2 is 18. So I put 18 on my center line, and I mark the edge of the window rough opening. Then I measure from that 1.5 inches. Then I go to the other side of the window. I measure 18, 1.5 inches. Using my speed square, I mark across both plates. Inside is going to be a trimmer stud with a cripple on top. Other is a full stud. On the other side, I mark trimmer closest to the center line, cripple on top, full stud, full stud. All right, if you remember, there were 3 steps for laying out. The first thing you lay out are corner posts and T-post. Then you lay out windows and doors. The last thing you need to lay out are your 16 inches on center. And that's what I'm going to do last. I'm going to hook the edge of my board, and I'm going to mark 16 inches on center. So I go to the red boxes, I mark 3/4 of an inch on each side of the red boxes, all the way down. Then I take my speed square and I mark them off. This is outside my opening, so it's going to be a full stud. This is between my 2 trimmer studs, so it's going to be a cripple and a cripple. Cripple on top, cripple on the bottom. Same with this one. It's between the trimmer studs, so I mark cripple, cripple. All right, I have one outside. This one is about 1.25 inches from this one, so I just make it 1.5 inches. It's outside my window opening, so it's a full stud. Now this one is about 3/4 of an inch. Now this one can work either way. Since I already have a stud here, I can either leave it out, or if I wanted to strengthen my wall a little bit, I could add another stud. Either one is acceptable. Then the last one, there's going to be full stud on the end. After you have your plates laid out, now what we need to do is figure out how to get the height of the window. Okay, so you'll see that I've got this all laid out in my header, everything in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure from the bottom of the header down 5 feet. Because remember, a vinyl window will be a 1/2 inch less than that. I'm adding that 1/2 inch for spacing. So I have 5 feet. I mark, then I mark 1.5 inches. And that is where my sill plate will go. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to measure from the bottom of the header. I'm going to measure down 5 feet. That's 59.5 plus a 1/2 inch for spacing. Then I'm going to add 1.5 inches. And my sill plate will go across there. Now I've got my sill plate pre-cut, so my sill plate will just fit just like that. To get the cripple length, all I have to do is measure from my mark to the bottom of the trimmer stud, and it's 20 inches. So I pre-cut my 20-inch cripple studs, and I'm going to install them on the marks. Now, one thing I like to do is you'll notice that there's no cripple stud mark here, but I like to have one on the end of my windowsill to help support it and make it easier to nail it. And I do that on both sides. So when I go to nail it, I will nail it through the end, then I will nail it through the side into the trimmer stud, then I can nail down through the top without having to run a toenail through here. I can just nail straight down into the top, and I can do that on both sides. To find out where the tops of these two cripples are, I just pull from a 16 and I mark them 3/4 of an inch on each side, and all I have to do then is line them up and nail them down through the sill. And that completes the window rough opening. So look for more videos in the future. If you have any questions or comments, let me know, and I will see you on future videos.